Morning, everyone. How are you doing? Great day
Morning.
today.
It's a great day.
A
Morning, Zach.
glorious day.
Yeah. All right. Today is November the 5th, 2022. This is Triple Option, our college football show. And man, there's a big one going down today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we couldn't just do a regular show like we normally do on Sundays. We had to add another one in to get the before, and then we'll come back tomorrow and get the aftermath. But Zach is a huge Georgia fan, as all y'all know that. But there's some other fans out there as well, and we had to get them on so we can get some more insight on this matchup. So as you can see down here is Brooks and Goddard. So what's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, man. Happy to be in the mix this year. Happy to be in the mix. It's been a long time for us Tennessee fans. Happy to be in the mix.
What's going on? What's going on?
All right. Okay. Well, gentlemen, in just a second here, we'll get started. Triple option.
All
All right.
right.
Well, yes. Special shout out to Terrence Jones Music Company LLC for the hot track. We are also simulcast on Blackjack TV. We thank the Jack.
Yes, we do.
All right, it's showtime. All right, before we get rolling, Brooks, let everybody know why you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, man.
No, that's my alma mater, man. I graduated there in 2009. So all my family's big dog fans. So it just runs in the family. Plus, it's the alma mater, so got to support them.
Amen to that.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
Tennessee Vols, man. How did it happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, my family is from my mom's side of the family. They're from Nashville. So a few
Okay.
of my uncles, big ball fans, and growing up at first, before I got into it, it was just like I wasn't into football. But as I got older and I kept watching him and started watching football, what I'm saying, it was just easy the way to go.
Yeah, okay. So
I've been sticking with him.
yeah. All right. So you was like born into it, pretty
Yep,
much.
basically, yep. And everybody try to get it confused, like, well, you live here, you from Georgia. Well, yeah, I am, but my roots from Tennessee.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I've known you for a long time, and I always see you with the paraphernalia, win or lose. You've been getting
Exactly,
down with the Vols,
exactly. Yeah, we got a lot of
and
fans popping up now that's been hiding out, because we haven't been doing so well. Now everybody want to come out. I'm like, no, stay where you at. Stay where you at. You know what I'm saying? Don't be the old type of fan. If you're gonna be a
Mhm.
fan, always be a fan.
All right, I like that. All right, well, Zach,
And,
we
and
have a
I
big
would agree
matchup.
with it. Because I have been a Georgia fan through a lot of years where things didn't go the way they were supposed to go. And someone on this panel gave me a hard time about that for years and years.
In years.
I,
But
we'll
yeah,
say
here we are.
almost 41 of them.
Right, right.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So, I guess the reason why we all gathered here today, number one ranked Tennessee Vols at number 3 Georgia. Huge matchup, a lot of implications there. So, let's get into the matchup. And with that, I'll let Zach lead the way on this.
Well, I'm gonna be kind and let our guest speak first. So, which guest would I guess the Tennessee ball fan gets to go first. So, feel free. The floor is yours. Say whatever it is you feel about this matchup today. That is, I think, the highest ranked matchup in I'm sorry, Sanford Stadium in history. 1 versus 3.
Mm. I think it's gonna be very interesting. Like of course I'm rooting for Tennessee. That's why I want to win. But like, I'm not the one to say, well, yeah, we're gonna win the game. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a realist when it comes to football. Game has to be played. You know what I'm saying? Georgia has a stellar defense as usual. You know what I'm saying? And the offense is not gonna say it's not. I'm not. It's better than usual, but it's hard to say exactly how good it is just based on their strength of schedule. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Tennessee, like our offense is stellar. You know what I'm saying? It's stellar. Defense, passive defense is suspect, very suspect. But I think we do well against the run. So if we could come in and control that running game against Georgia, they used to like to do this year, kind of going away from it. But if we control the run game like we've been doing against our opponents this year, I think we have a real great chance at coming out with a victory and limiting our turnovers. If we get to run our offense, limited turnovers, and control Georgia run game, I think we in for like a double digit win. That's what I feel.
Ooh, who are some of the key players
Key
that we
players
need to
for
keep an eye on?
offense and defense, or just one.
Well, you can start with the defense and the offense.
Well, defense we've actually had and like they talk about our passing defense, but we've actually had a lot of guys in and out of rotation because of injuries. Like both our starting corners have been down. Last week we actually had against Kentucky, one of our safeties actually played corner most of the game. So it's like but I think if we can get Kamal Hadden back today, they're saying he might play who's number 5. If we get him back on the outside, that'll help us a lot. And of course, Jeremy Banks playing great defense at our middle linebacker, and Byron Young, our DN, he's playing lights out. Not to mention Jay Sean Terry or what on D line. So we got some key players who really playing good, and of course Travion Flowers number 1 on defense. He's always gonna be around the ball. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we can get some stability at corner because of injuries. I think it'll really help us out today. And on offense, you already know, like we have, like if Georgia decide they want to double Hyatt, if that's what they want to do, or try to put a safety on the top, Tillman. We still got Brew McCoy. We got a little freshman Squirrel Jones who people don't know a lot about yet. I mean Squirrel Williams. He's like a hidden gem right now. And you know what I'm saying? They've been kind of put him in there at spurts here and there. And so he's showing flashes. But with more game reps, it's gonna be like, wow, where he come from? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Of course, and our number 1 receiver, who was Cedric Tillman, who hadn't played. He played last week, but didn't really play a great game because they didn't go to him a whole lot. He was our number 1 receiver until he got hurt or whatever. So I think, like I said, we get in the game and start moving pieces around. Georgia's not gonna be able to. I don't think they're gonna be able to key on Hyatt, like, because Alabama called themselves keying on Hyatt as well, but it still got away from them.
Very good. That's some good inside information there. And quarterback play, how you feel about that?
Quarterback play, Hendon Hooker is really like he's a, he this I think this offense is built for him. Like he don't turn the ball over, and like I say, and I don't hope he don't start today. He has 1 interception on the year, and he's been and it came off of a little no, it was like an overthrow pass or whatever when they had some pressure at his feet, and he was throwing from his heels, but like he knows where the ball should go just about every snap, and like I say, I think, and even his Heisman talk, you know what I'm saying, I like it, but I just don't like it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like all that noise. Like I didn't even want to be number 1, which I think we deserving of the number 1 ranking based on the resume. But I don't like that target. You know what I'm saying? I like being the underdog, just coming in, just keep playing football. Just like even for Hendon Hooker, I don't think it's going to his head or nothing because he's a real like he seemed pretty humble or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So he's laid back. He's not one that's gonna let that you know what I'm saying get in him and make him feel like he's more than what he is.
All right. Okay. Anything for him, Zach?
Zack, you muted.
Nope. I'm gonna let my Georgia brother speak on it. It,
All right.
it was well said. That is a great analysis of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And so,
Appreciate
and
it.
so and then and Goddard, you did mention that the number one ranking. So as we transition over to the Georgia talk and get the analysis there, you just said that you didn't want to be number one, and then
Not right.
I think you was alluding to that they should be number one based on resume. So not trying to, I know you want to surprise teams and everything, but do you truly feel like your team is number one in the country right now?
Honestly, I do. I do. I'm not. Yeah, I do. I do just based on like our schedule. Like I said, yeah, a couple of them were close games, but I think like when we played certain teams, when the weekend that we played them, they were ranked here or they were ranked there. Like even
Yeah,
LSU, we went to Baton Rouge and beat them by 30 plus. You know what I'm saying? Or
yeah,
like close to 30 at home, like in Baton Rouge. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't do. Not saying they were the greatest team at that weekend, but look what they've done since then. Like they're
right.
trending right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, now that their resume makes our resume look good based on what they're doing now. So I think, and then going to Pitt early in the year, who they beat us last year on our home field, we go into Pitt, you know what I'm saying? And we were scrambling around because of like our team was kind of gelling that weekend, but we came out with the victory in overtime. And then
Yeah,
of course the Alabama game, like we dominated Alabama in the first quarter and a half. Yeah, they came back. That's what they're Alabama. They're supposed to do that, but we dominated that game. And I feel like we still had a key moments in that game that we let our guard down and allowed them to come back. Like we actually that game was not as close as it that score showed at the end. But
mm,
they're Alabama. They're going to do that, and it was a great game. Like it was a great game, but we showed where we could actually dominate on both sides of the ball. They don't give our defense credit, but you go back and watch the game. It's like, well, penalties here, penalties there. Well, that's part of the game. Alabama used to be the beneficiary of those flags, but this week that week it didn't work out for them. So yeah, like based on resume, yeah, I think we're deserving of number one. I just don't like that target right now. I want to be number one at the 12th week of the season. You know what I'm saying? Like not
yeah,
now.
yeah. At the end. All
Yeah.
right. Well, Zach, until Brooks gets back, anything you can provide us about UGA today?
Well, first I will say, don't worry. If you don't want to be number one, we're gonna help you not be number one. So we will try to rectify that issue for you today. Don't worry about that part.
Okay. Okay.
I think there's a common misconception about Tennessee, though. Everybody looks at Tennessee and they believe Tennessee is a passing team, but really
Right.
Tennessee wants to run the ball. They have two running backs that, what is it, Wright and Small, give you good ball carriers. They want to dictate how your box looks. So that's part of the reason they go fast and they get up to the line in a hurry to see if you have, for lack of a better term, 8 men in the box versus 7 men in the box. But of course, they spread you out. That box is going to be different, but they want to know if you got a heavy box or a light box, so they can decide if they want to run against you. I would probably add, now that Hyatt, it helped them that Tillman was out, because Hyatt was really able to develop and kind of become a bona fide star. And I'd give him, I think he had 200 plus yards against Alabama and the 5 touchdowns. That's probably the best game, I'd say, or best individual performance of the season. So Georgia will need to be aware of the passing game, or I should say, be aware of Hyatt. Uh, Tillman is coming back. Tillman coming off of that injury. I think was it a high ankle sprain? I think it
Yeah. High
was.
ankle sprain.
Believe he had to get surgery for it to help him get back. Um, we had a breakdown last week of Malachi Starks. That's probably his first kind of, I won't even say freshman blunder, but misstep back in the secondary. Outside of that, he's been great. So we don't need to bust any assignments. Tennessee takes advantage of busted assignments. Go see the Alabama game. But I do think they're going to be a different team on the road versus at home. He referenced the LSU game where they really jumped on LSU, which they jumped on Alabama. But he didn't really reference the Pitt game that went to overtime. They had both receivers. Both receivers were healthy, and they were fortunate to win the game because Slovis got injured. They were in a lot of trouble up until he got injured. So this is a opportunity for Georgia to show what they have. They haven't played the greatest schedule. I kind of argue that the Alabama victory is the best victory of the season when Georgia beat Oregon by 40 some odd points. It's like how many points you beat a team by doesn't matter. But I know Alabama is the name. They're going to get credit. Tennessee should be ranked number one. And it's a shame that this isn't a 12-team playoff because both of these teams could compete for the national championship if you had that. But more than likely, whoever loses today, especially if Georgia were to lose today, would be eliminated. Tennessee would have a chance to stay in it if they lose. But then you're looking at a lot of things having to happen for them to stay in their position. So really, this is an all or nothing game for both teams. And now that we have Brooks, I'll let him take over.
Y'all hear me?
Yep. Fire away, Brooks.
All right, sorry about that. Not good service on this part of Mountain Drive. Yeah, I think the big thing for me is going to be this crowd. Georgia home schedule is notoriously weak. We don't play Florida at home. We play in Jacksonville, so one of our biggest rivals. We never get that experience at home. So Auburn's been down. So we really just haven't had those big home games. Probably the last, Arkansas last year was unexpected. The Notre Dame game a few years ago. So I think you're going to see a really, really energized crowd, and I am expecting them to, affect the game. I really am. This crowd, these home games, they're craving a big home game. And just the way this turned out, being 1 versus 3, man, I think it's going to be really a lot of energy in there. I think it's going to affect the game. So that would be what I would think. That's what I say first off. Second, I think Georgia needs to get pressure. I think they're last. They're near the bottom in pressure. But I also say offenses, they come in prepared to give Georgia their best shot. They get rid of the ball quickly, which I don't think a lot of people mention.
Oh, okay, Brooks. I think he's in a tough spot. Do y'all hear him?
Yeah, he in and out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in and out. But he's correct. Everybody gets on Georgia because Georgia doesn't get a lot of sacks. But as he said, teams game plan. They're not sitting there like saying, "Hey, we're gonna hold the ball for 10 seconds and let them hit us." They want to get rid of the ball. So and there we go. We got him back now.
Okay, you're back, Brooks.
Yeah. So, like I said, teams, we're national champions. Teams give us our best shot. And like I said, they're going to get the ball. They get the ball out quickly. Every team does it. So it does affect our sack numbers. But we do have one of the best defensive linemen in the nation, Jalen Carter. He's projected to go top 5 in any mock draft you see. And I think he needs to come in and have an impact. I think we got a young guy starts in the secondary, making plays all season. I would love to see him, get a turnover today. It's all going to depend. Can we get pressure on the defensive side? Offensively, I think we have a bunch of solid players. And one game changer. The game changer on offense is the tight ends. I think we got some of the best tight ends in the nation, Bowers in Washington. Those two guys, and Monken, he moves them around. He puts them, they move them around. He lets them make plays. I know our wide receivers are lacking. I don't know if A.D. Mitchell's going to be. I don't know if he's ready to go today. He's one of our better receivers. We haven't seen him since, like week 2, I believe. He's the one that made the catch in the national championship game. If we get him back, I like our chance a little bit better because he's definitely our best receiver. Our receivers are lacking. They're solid, but they're just not. There's no game changer on the receiver right now. but those tight ends are. The running game's going to be solid with McIntosh. Dijon Edwards is really coming to his own. Really got in a rhythm last game, and you can tell. So he might be one of the backs we start to feed a little bit more as we phase. Stop giving all the. Usually we're notorious for giving 3-4 running backs carries. Hopefully, I think you'll see a more slim rotation with McIntosh and Edwards today, and I think we can get the run game going. That's key. I think Bennett's solid. He knows the system, but he's much more effective when we have the running game. So if we can establish that run game, it's just going to make Bennett a lot more than that. So.
All right. Very good. Very good. Hey, gentlemen, who has the edge in the coaching aspect of this?
Stop it. Stop it. Come on, man. Don't add. Next question.
Who has the edge?
Stop it.
I mean, we got the hardware. I don't know. I mean, Kirby has the hardware. He has the.
Has played in 2 national championships. Come on. I like Heupel.
I think Kirby has the edge. And if you think about defensive game planning, I mean, Kirby is going to have, he's going to, watch what probably not to do, what not to do on the Alabama end, and come up with, I think he'll come up with a good game plan for him.
Okay, so pause. So y'all saying y'all giving him the resume, y'all saying y'all giving Kirby the edge because of his hardware and he's played in 2 national championships? Or so we saying, are we really saying coaching or are we saying talent? Because y'all clearly have had the talent lately. Look what Josh Heupel inherited. Look where he came from just a year ago off of 3-17. You know what I'm saying? 35 guys hit the transfer portal, and now we're number 1 in the nation. So we talking talent or we talking coaching?
Well, I'm gonna say this: is it Goddard? Is it Goddard? I'm gonna say this, Goddard. Just wait till after the game to think I'll answer that question.
I'm just saying
because I've given Kirby. But you have to go off. You have to go off your resume. Kirby will always have to deal. Kirby will always have to deal with the kind of thing of. Think of it. He was born a rich kid in the sense that he took over the Georgia program. I would say Georgia is probably the best college program in football. When you look at the resources and the talent that you have, the ability to recruit, I am impressed with what Heupel has done. Because I think on the show a few weeks ago, I said Tennessee was done being a contender because you can't get recruits. Obviously, Heupel has done something. So he deserves credit for that. But as of right now today, if we were going off of resume, I'm giving Kirby the edge based on resume.
The question was, when you really sit in that film room and then you put the X's and O's together and you prepare for a game, when his question was, who has the edge when it comes to coaching? We're not talking about what they have done. We're talking about what they can do in team in terms of preparing for a game. Like you saying, Kirby he has the hardware. His resume speaks for itself, just being a defensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about what Heupel has done in this short time frame, like Kirby, it took him a couple years to get to that, but it started with his recruiting. Like, he had the players. Like, he took half of Alabama's class the year he went to Georgia, not to mention one of my cousins, like Malik Herring. Like, Malik wasn't planning on going to Georgia. Half of those guys wasn't planning on going to Georgia. McCole Hartman the year before. Like, these guys were planning on going other places. They knew Kirby was leaving. His recruiting style and his ability to recruit gives him the edge as far as recruiting and things of that nature. But when you talk about like the edge as far as coaching, you can't just come out and just say, "Oh, I give it to Kirby" based on his resume. Like, he's a defensive coach. You know what I'm saying? And it took a couple years. Heupel has done. This is a major turnaround. Like, I got, for instance, Tyrone, Marvin Harris Jr. We had this conversation in the locker room last year. In one of the games, he's like, "Oh God, y'all still 3-4 years out." And I said, "Dude, next year we will be competing for the SEC championship." I didn't say national championship, nothing like that. I just felt like I couldn't imagine we would have been 8-0 at this point, but I felt like we would be in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would be in the mix for the SEC championship. You know what I'm saying? But for what Heupel has done, we had 35 guys transfer, man. 35. Last year we played with, I want to say, 60-something scholarship players. Like you talking about that's coaching. That's coaching.
He's
That's
doing
coaching.
well. I would refer you to the Oregon game to start this year. That was a total demolition, and Oregon couldn't do anything offensively and defensively. Somebody did a great. Somebody did some X's and O's studying.
Listen,
So
listen. Okay, but at the same time, we as a football fan, you also know that's one of them games where they couldn't do nothing right, and y'all couldn't do nothing wrong. It just played out that way. That was more
they
than
couldn't
just
do it. They
preparation.
couldn't do.
That was more than
They
just
could.
preparation.
Oh, come on.
no. Listen, no, that was just like every bounce, every ball went your way. Everything went Georgia's way that day. Not saying coaching didn't do that thing. Not saying they didn't do that thing. That was more than just coaching. That was Oregon's lack of first game of the season. They weren't ready.
You three gentlemen are referees, and I'm sure y'all have heard. Hey, the referees beat us tonight. We had to play against. Sometimes it ain't that the referees beat you. It's that the other team put you in positions where you had to make those fouls, or you weren't able to make them plays. Georgia, based on the preparation and the talent, put Oregon in a position to.
I say talent. I say more talent.
Because if you want to go there, Alabama has 17 penalties against Tennessee, and they missed the field goal at the end.
Right.
But some of that is you're doing what you need to do to make them do those things. But I'll let Brooks take the question. I'm going to give Kirby credit. Now, I think everybody knows I'm not the biggest Kirby fan, but I'm going to give him the credit that he has earned as of today.
I'm not taking his credit. I get what you're saying. I would too. I'm just saying though, just look more deep into it versus hardware resume. I'm just saying what Heupel has done in this short span of time with what he was given. With what he was given.
Yes, but tell me this. If for some reason, which I expect, Tennessee loses today, and now they finish, say, 9-3, are we still going to be giving him credit for outstanding coaching, or are we going to wait and let him build it? Like, it's been great so far. He's got to finish this thing out.
You're right. You're right.
But who has the edge in coaching for today?
Stop it! Pass the question to Brooks there.
And guess what? And guess what?
Today.
And I'm gonna give it a Heupel. I'm gonna give and I say that based on the short history, because even the Alabama game, Kurt Herbstreit came on TV the following Saturday. Big Bear on game day was like, he was kind of trying to, same way everybody, the Alabama fans doing, basically downplaying Tennessee's performance. Basically saying, well, look what had to happen in order for Tennessee to win. Alabama had to have 7 penalties and this is that. Kurt Herbstreit said, point blank, period. Tennessee outplayed them and they were outcoached. Now, your resume can be your resume, but on any given Saturday, Sunday, you can be outcoached. And he clearly outcoached Nick Saban on that Saturday. That's why I say even today, like you look at matchups. That's why, like you said, we go fast, get to the line of scrimmage, and we're looking at matchups. Let them outside linebackers get caught on that field. When we got 5 receivers on the field. It's gonna be a long day. Long day.
But that's preparation. That's why I said Kirby's gonna, like, that's not gonna be a shock to Kirby. Like, believe it or not, Kirby played against Tennessee last year in Neyland Stadium, and they went up against this offense last year. I think we remember what the score was that game. So the team, they will understand what needs to happen.
But to my point, right, you're right, and y'all did those things last year. Tennessee did those things several times, but guess what? We started fast as well last year, but it came down to the lack of players that we had. We didn't have those players to finish the third and fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? You can go back and look at most of our games, like third and fourth quarter. We were running out of gas. We didn't have those bodies to rotate or whatever. So when the games came down to it, yeah, y'all had edge. Y'all turned us over a couple times, and y'all outcoached us because it was some 4th down where I feel like we should have been kicking field goals, but we were going for it in some bad situations. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I give you the coaching edge last year, but now I think just going like we're 12 months into it, I think what Heupel is doing lately, and I go back and watch game films like I do when I referee. I watch the game as a coach, like a coach. I'm looking like, what could we have done differently? Or why this guy got this wide open touchdown against us? Or why he got this 30-yard run up the middle, stuff like that. And I'm looking, now I see what hyping them see. Like, oh man, this is gonna be, man. I give a coach an edge to hype them, and that's just me. Not saying because I'm a Tennessee fan, but I'm just saying X and O's wise, X and O's hyperlism. Look what he done when he was at Missouri. They torched us and Georgia. When he had Drew Lock, same thing. He was torching us. Who was Missouri? Like they were torching us. You know what I'm saying? He did the same thing to both teams.
Come on in, Brooks. on the coaching aspect of today.
I'd be crazy if I didn't give the offensive coaching to Heupel. I mean, his offense is the numbers he put up since he's gotten there is undeniable. But I don't see how you can argue on the defensive side that Georgia doesn't have the advantage. You think last year's Georgia team was historically good. This year's team had some hiccups, but still only giving up 9 points per game. I think we're splitting hairs. I can see the offensive edge, even though I think Todd Monken's one of the best offensive coordinators in the game. But I can give the offensive edge to Tennessee. But defensive wise, coaching, I don't see how you cannot say Georgia has.
I think he hit a bad area again, and I'm just gonna. Oh, there you go. And I'm just to say, Brooks, I'm gonna just disagree with you just a smidge, and you seem like a real fan because you were giving details on the game. I'm just gonna say, look at the Oregon game and look at the South Carolina game, and look how the offense came out. But our offense gets overlooked. Like everybody says, we don't have the offense, but we're only scoring 42 plus points a game, I believe. And we're like what, top 5, top 10 in the nation in
Missouri.
offense.
Missouri.
Pittsburgh, you're gonna have games like that. Pittsburgh, you're an injured quarterback away from not making the.
We heard 2 quarterbacks,
not being undefeated.
Just verify, we heard 2 quarterbacks that day.
Okay, well there you go. That is football. Things will happen, my concern about Georgia this year is I think the team feels a little bit entitled, some of the players, because it seems like for the games that we need to get up for, we have gotten up for, which is good for today. We'll get up for. In the other games, we're just like, whatever. And maybe Brooks can chime in on what he's seen from the team, but I think we're going to be very motivated today, as Brooks said, and I won't be shocked at all because I believe the point spread is 9+ points. I think it started at 11.
We're going to get to that one too. Yep.
Oh, sorry.
No, you good. You good. So okay,
the spread is a spread for a reason. Like Vegas makes their money.
Exactly.
Go ahead. My bad.
No, I was going to say. I mean, people are going to point to the Kent State game. People are going to point to the Missouri game. The Missouri game was a night game.
And Zack, there are some of the stats that you mentioned earlier, right there. And Goddard, and here's some stats on your end too for Tennessee.
And notice those are just offensive stats, I believe, not the defensive stats.
Correct.
Did we lose Brooks for a little bit?
Yeah. But we're audible till he gets back, right?
Well, yeah, he was probably talking about that the Missouri game was a night game, and I will add, he talked about the scheduling for Georgia. Not only is our scheduling for the home games not the best in the world, but then we get screwed on the home times, and we don't get night games. Like next week, we got to go to Mississippi State at night, so we don't get any night games. Yet we always got to go play in some tough environment. And Missouri ain't the end-all, be-all, but you'll know this, there, Goddard. The SEC is the SEC. Like, that's why I say it's going to be a shame that one of these teams is going to be eliminated. Because I do like Tennessee, and I think you guys are good. Wish y'all didn't have to play us. And if we're being real, if y'all weren't good this year, our schedule actually would be pretty horrible. So it is nice that you guys are good. And now I'll kick it back to Goddard to Brooks since he's back.
You back, Brooks?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. We were just trying to get your
Talking about
get your thoughts
you were
in
talking
there.
about
Yeah.
you were talking about Missouri and us playing there.
Yeah, I just thought that was a game where we were still adjusting to taking every team's best shot, And Missouri came out just really a lot of energy, played well, and I just, I think we're still a young team at that point adjusting to, taking every team's best shot. Every team's going to get up for us. It was a night game. So I thought it was just context there. And with Kent State, if you listen to what Kirby said after the Kent State game, he was trying to do things. I mean, his game plan basically, especially on offense, was to try to get better at things we struggled with. He intentionally, called the game in a certain way where, to make us uncomfortable. I mean, he was credit. I mean, you can disagree with that or not, but that's his words. I mean, he did things that we weren't comfortable doing that we, trying to pinpoint the things we need to get better at. So it's context for those two close games. I think if you a Georgia fan and you really paid attention to them, there's more to. It wasn't just Georgia playing bad or playing down to the competition. There's a little bit more than that.
All right, interesting takes. And great job, gentlemen. Anything we're gonna close out before we get to the matchup, the actual point spread and predictions?
Nope, not for me.
Okay, well, Zack, as you alluded to earlier, which was great timing. Here's the matchup. All right, you got the point spread is 8.5 here. Do y'all think this is about right?
Yes. Absolutely. That's why Vegas makes all that money. They know exactly what they're doing. So
mean, personally, I would find a game to tease this with and get it down to 2.5. If you wanted to take Georgia, that would be my plan.
All right, Goddard, you feel good about this 8.5?
Honestly, no, I'm not coming because I don't look at point spreads. I don't get into that stuff. I honestly don't. I have no comment on it.
All right, no comment. Very good. So,
I ain't never been a person to look at the spread. It don't matter to me. You got to play the game. I know Vegas make money and how they make their money, but hey, I don't.
So based on them, they're thinking it's not going to be semi close. So, but I think earlier you mentioned that this should be a good game, and so with that being said, gentlemen, it's time for predictions. And so let's get the predictions in, get it on the board, and then we'll follow up tomorrow with the aftermath. So, who wins? We'll start with Brooks.
I think we know where everybody stands.
I'm expecting a close game. I would not lay the 8.5. I am expecting a close game. I think both teams are going to put up points. I don't think they're going to put up points to the level of Alabama-Tennessee game. So I'll say 35-32 Georgia.
Okay.
You waiting on me? So you waiting on me, Zach? I know Zach looking at me. He waiting on me. He's waiting on me. He waiting on me.
You're the guest, but I already know what you're gonna say anyway. So
no, honestly, like I said, I've been having this talk all week. Me and my brother, he a Tennessee fan as well, and a couple guys that I work with. I'm not good at predictions. I don't really, you know what I'm saying? I don't sit back and say the same thing. I'm like Brooks though. I expect to be a close game, you know what I'm saying? But, I do feel like even what Zach was saying earlier, I know we're talking predictions right now, but I still feel like we're in a win-win because we can lose and still march into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? As long as we win out and we win and we go to SEC championship. You know what I'm saying? So it's we're in a win-win right now. But as far as the game itself, I honestly feel like we're going to win. I honestly feel like I think it's our time, and we're playing great football right now. And we still haven't played our best game as well. So I think, and I want to say it's gonna be a close game, but I feel like I think that spread gonna be. I think we could possibly win by double digits
That would be super impressive on the road.
on the road. And
Yeah.
even like with that, people talk about the noise of Athens, the noise in Athens. So we play enough noise every week at home. Our defensive players say like it's hard for even them. Like, of course, the fans get up, make noise for the opposing offense, right? They can't make their calls because they can't hear the defensive signals. So it's like we're used to it. No, the offense might be used to so much noise, but as far as team aspect, we're used to that noise because we play on it every time we're in Neyland. We play under that sound.
All right, Zach.
Well, I think I like what Goddard said, but I don't know if it matches up with kind of facts. Use Alabama as a example. Alabama is a much different team at home versus on the road, and
True.
this is kind of like through years. Like, and we'll go Georgia too. Teams play differently on the road than they do at home when you're playing against the better competition. I do think the atmosphere is going to affect Tennessee as far as their communication on offense. And more importantly, I think this is a up game for Georgia. I heard the viral little soundbite come out of Kirby cussing Keely Ringo out, and I'm glad because I be cussing Keely Ringo out on TV all the time. I don't know how he's a first round corner, but
Right.
he got in trouble because he wasn't being assignment sound in practice or whatever. And if you bust assignments against Tennessee, you're gonna see Jalen Hyatt or Cedric Tillman running naked in the end zone. They gotta watch that. Fant is another good player for them. You'll like this there, Tyrone.
He's inconsistent, but I got you. They're inconsistent.
He does, but he's a guy that when you're paying attention to those individuals, that he's a guy that can make something happen, which we got to watch for. You'll like this, Tyrone, that it's going to be like tennis. Tennessee really jumps on you in the first quarter. They give you that Mike Tyson effect where they will knock you out. So we have to hold serve. We can't do like LSU did and come in and let us jump on us. We need to hold serve until we can let our defense take over, get a good feel for what they're going to do. I think this will be around anywhere from 7 to 10 point victory for Georgia. It won't be a bad loss for Tennessee. It'll look good resume wise. But I'm going to say this: if Stetson Bennett turns the ball over, if the offense turns the ball over like they have been, then of course Tennessee will win this ball game. We need to be clean. We need to have that Oregon type day where we come in focused on the opponent. Like, this can't be where we think these are just some dudes coming in and they're going to be nervous because you're the national champs and all of this stuff. We're going to have to beat Tennessee. I don't believe that Tennessee will beat themselves, but I'd give us anywhere 7 to 10 point victory, and I think it'll be a comfortable victory that Tennessee is trying to score a touchdown late in the game to make it that 7-10 point spread.
All right, sounds good, man. Great predictions there, gentlemen, and also explaining why. I'm gonna throw something out there to close it out. Let's say Tennessee loses today. Cover your ears, got it. But let's just say they don't win. They don't win today. It's a good game. It's a close game, whatever. I believe they won't drop drastically because of the opponent. And that will keep them somewhere in the top, in that top 4 if they win out the rest of the year. And then Georgia and Alabama will match up later on. And let's just say Alabama happens to topple Georgia in the SEC championship game. Is it fair for me to think that all 3 teams will make the playoff under that condition?
No,
possibly.
It would depend. It depends on what else happens. Like, outside of the
because
Georgia
Penn State
Tennessee game today. Oh, go ahead.
No, you finish. Go ahead, finish.
Well, I was just gonna say Clemson Notre Dame is a big game today. I'm pulling for Notre Dame today. If Notre Dame beats Clemson, that's gonna eliminate.
We have to worry about them.
Teams.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Michigan, Ohio State. I don't think Michigan's gonna finish. I don't think they're gonna finish out because guess what? That Big Ten championship gonna be a big game, so that's gonna eliminate somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take a one-loss SEC team, you know what I'm saying, whether they in the SEC championship or not, versus a one-loss Big Ten team. Yeah, it could be interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So some other things need to break today, and there's some other matchups on the slate.
TCU has to lose a game before the season is over too. Like if TCU goes undefeated, Clemson goes undefeated. Like if TCU and Clemson go undefeated, then you're probably only going to get one team from the SEC in, and that would be whoever wins the conference.
Wow, it's interesting, man. So there's a lot on the line today, as you guys said earlier. And so here's the slate of games that that we're going to talk about in depth tomorrow. But you have the Alabama, Texas and Kansas State, the Clemson game that you guys just mentioned, and then the Wake Forest NC State. So we'll talk about those games in more detail tomorrow. And then also, go ahead. I
just want to ask Zach real quick, what you feel about the LSU Alabama game? Like they're really thinking LSU about to beat Alabama. Like, how you feel?
I'm not a big fan of Daniels, but I do like Kelly as a coach. Like I just told, Alabama doesn't play the same on the road as they do at home. It's possible they can make that game close to what it is, but I think they can win by 7. They shouldn't have too much to worry about. LSU just, if you go back to the Florida State game, and even, Alabama is explosive as you guys are on offense. They've had all those mistakes, but LSU just they're a little discombobulated. Like they have the talent, but they don't put everything together. And then some of their players maybe have that entitled feel. Like Keyshawn Butte is supposed to be so damn good, but I wouldn't take him over Hyatt. I wouldn't take him over Tillman. Like he hasn't performed as well. So Alabama should win. Now, once again, in the big scheme of things, if Alabama loses today, that eliminates them from it. So it wouldn't be, I won't shed any tears if they get eliminated from it. And because that's what a lot of this is. Your team staying available. And that's why they do need a 12-team playoff, because Georgia or Tennessee really could win the national championship this year, but you got to get to the playoff to do it. And the SEC has enough contenders that when you're knocking each other off, like he said, the Big Ten, if you think Ohio State and Michigan are great, okay, so they get in. But then like a TCU, just because TCU goes undefeated doesn't mean that they should be in the playoff. Or just because Clemson goes undefeated doesn't mean that they should be in. But the way it's set up now, if you win a Power 5 conference and you go undefeated, you're getting in because everybody sees the 0 and they say, well, you should be in. But like Cincinnati last year, when you're a non-Power 5 conference team, they look at everything instead of doing like they have now. Clemson isn't that good. Like Clemson wouldn't finish probably 5th in the SEC this year. They would have 2 or 3 losses maybe just based on how they play. TCU, another team that has had some up and down games, they probably have 2 losses.
They'll probably have 4 losses.
This is where you're at. But see, this is where you're at, and you get this type of game. Yeah. And these are pain point games. So I think Alabama will win, but
as a Georgia fan, as a Georgia fan, saying the LSU trending.
They're a talented team. I think they have some, like when you were talking about coaching, I won't go all coaching. They have some things they need to work on. Like they're kind of like Texas A&M, that Texas A&M has all of these kind of like issues that they got to get out of the program. LSU just doesn't have as many right now.
Right.
And Alabama is working on their own issues also.
No, go ahead. Yeah, y'all wrapping it up, giving the Alabama take on there too. And so, but tomorrow, man, we'll go through these matchups. We'll cover the aftermath of this matchup, and we'll have some things to actually analyze that happens today. So I know you guys are ready. You're geared up. I know Goddard, he's partying all day. He's going to be ready. And Zach, I know you're fired up for your squad. Brooks,
like I said, excited. I'm glad Tennessee is doing well this year, and I think whoever loses this game, I think both teams will go 11-1. So it'll be a shame if the other team doesn't make the CFP. But
Yeah.
this is a big game. We don't really get these. So
yeah. The one thing that does this that right now the format does create is that basically having games like this. You got some elimination games, so you control your way by winning this game. You know, it's kind of hard because you have teams all across the country, different conferences. There's only so many games you can play, so everybody really can't play each other. So you know, you got to figure out a way to get in there now. And I guess the path is to win your conference for sure, and then otherwise have a strong team and go from there. But yeah, when they expand the playoffs, which they will, I mean, it's coming. You know, everybody's expanded. You know, the NBA has what? They have an expanded playoff on top of how it was already 8 deep. So, you know, that's just the way sports is going. We talked about that the other day with baseball, Zach, how baseball expanded their playoffs. So, you know, that's where it's going. It's going to get there. But in the meantime, since it's not, that makes this game even bigger. So can't wait for it. And I appreciate Goddard, you and Brooks joining us. And Zach, as always, great job. And we're gone today. We thank everybody for watching.
Well, appreciate you, Goddard, and hey, good luck to Tennessee today. Hey, good luck in the sense of I hope y'all show well. But of course, hell no. Hell no.
All right. Look at
I'll be going for y'all. Hey, I'll be going for y'all every game except this game this year.
Look what he's showing.
I know. Hey, they're having a fight. Like Heupel has done well.
Yeah.
I have to give him credit. The Tennessee program is on the rise, and that is good.
Very good. All right. Well, keep that image right there for us, Goddard, as we get out of here. All right. See everybody tomorrow. Have a great day.
All right. Have a good one, y'all.